Artificially flavored with imitation talent, here they are once again, the BS Boys.
Yes, we are the BS Boys, broadcasting live from Felony Flats right here in the Great Pacific Northwest.
In the mobile Felony Flats because the other building was demolished.
Well, it's not yet.
Remodeled.
It's on its way of being reborn. Something like that.
Yeah, just a brand new building.
All the way around, man. Yeah, the Felony Flats broadcast studio. Welcome to the show, folks. The Red Light District Junior Hockey Talk Show. We are the BS Boys. Had a great talk with Mike Stanaway. Yeah. If you missed it, we will archive these interviews on the YouTube page. Also on our archive broadcast tab from the blog. So what we do is up top, if you go to the bsboys.wordpress.com, up top, there's going to be an archive tab and a live tab.
Yep.
Which is how you found this, hopefully. And so we will put all the interviews up there right now on the phone, on the line of BS.
Yeah.
We do have from the Fort Vancouver Vipers of NORPAC. We have Keith Bemis. Hey, Keith, how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, boys.
Hey, and how's everything going? You got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight.
Oh yeah, we've been busy. Busy off season, trying to turn our fledgling organization last year into a real organization this year.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's start right with the organization to begin with. You made some changes. You've got a new name for the team, and maybe you could give us a little bit of background on the name change and some other exciting things that you have with the Fort Vancouver Vipers going on.
Well, we changed the name to the Fort Vancouver Vipers. Really, it all had to do with us becoming a nonprofit group. Bob, that used to be co-owner with me, stepped out of the picture, and Chuck and I, Chuck Cheshire and I, had always wanted to turn this into a nonprofit organization. Neither one of us, or none of us, actually really care to go around pounding our chest saying that we own a team. We're all more in the realm that we all want to be part of something for the community, for the local players, and also help anybody from outside that we get so lucky into recruiting into come into our organization. So we've actually officially are a 501c or 501c3 group now, and have made it completely legal. It's up to us to see it go forward and prosper from here on.
Now, what does the addition of the word fort have to do with going nonprofit?
Really, it had more to do with what was available, because Mountain View actually already has a nonprofit group called the Vancouver Vipers. For us to legally have a organization that was called something to do with Vancouver Vipers, we had to change something.
Gotcha.
Vipers we didn't want to change that, so we picked up the moniker from one of the old organizations that was in the NPHL and added Fort to it. Seems simple enough.
It's simple enough but not for the layman that we're trying to understand exactly why. But I think I get it at this point.
We had to pick a name that was different than Vancouver Vipers, because that already in the state of Washington already had a 501c3 with it. So
there you go.
We had to change it legally.
So with the name change, off seasons, you guys ended up signing a new coach, Mike Dickerman, who's going to be taking over as the bench boss this year. Give us some background on Mike and how he got involved and what his plans are for the coming season.
Well, Mike's always been a very prominent senior hockey player in this area. Mike grew up here in Portland, playing youth hockey with a successful group of players that went to nationals 3 times, and he was always a prominent part of that. Spent a couple of years in the BCHL, and got, like anybody else, found a girl, got married, and forgot a little bit about hockey for a while. But he did coach, but he hasn't coached hockey for about 9 or 10 years now. But he's always been closely associated, especially as a player. He's got a great demeanor, very, very offensive-minded person. So it should be exciting to see what he can do with a group of players that he's got in front of him. I think he'll bring a lot of excitement. Just for his eye for the game, and his communication, his skills are really well. So it'll be interesting to see how things unfold for the team this year. But it'll be interesting to have a little bit more mature coach. When I say mature, it's more by his age. He's 49 years old, so we've always, the last few years that we've done this, always had someone that was fairly young, and it'll be interesting to see somebody with a little bit more maturity to him coach our team.
Well, I think also, though, Beamer, now that you've got a full jump after the season, you've got all summer doing all the recruiting. Last year, you guys had nothing. You were given this clump of coal and trying to turn it into this diamond. And God love the boys. They battled through hell. They kept with it. I know you guys went through a lot of players, but you had 0 ramp-up time. This time, you've got camps you're going to. You've got different people you're talking to about different players. You've got a full finger on the pulse. What kind of team, number one, do you have signed so far? And what's it look like for future players that can wear the Viper sweater?
Well, we do have, a little bit of mixture of players from last year, new players that we've gone to camps and successfully recruited, coming on board. With that, we've got some age and some youth. But we have to be careful of the age thing, and I think it's going to be a lot more important for all of our teams to be wary of signing too many older players anymore, because we have changed a rule in our league that we can only have 4 20-year-olds. So that's going to change the makeup of almost every team in our league a little bit. And probably by this time, 2 years after this season, I think you're going to see our league become quite a bit younger, and try and turn itself more into the league that it probably should be, and that is a developmental league, and see a lot more players move on to higher levels of juniors, instead of just trying to get kids into D3 and club hockey and the occasional kid, into a D1 school. I think we'll see a lot more of our teams trying to get young players and then move them on to the higher junior ranks in the near future.
Well, you mentioned the 20-year-old rule that's new this year, and I take it that's coming out of the league meetings that you guys had in the last few weeks. What other exciting news or information can you share with us that has been coming out of the league meetings and the weeks since that meeting?
Well, a lot of things were happening there. We will have a sixth team. Unfortunately, still, I know I thought the other day, Greg, when you and I talked, that it'd all be resolved by tonight. I did try and put a call into our commissioner, and unfortunately, he was still on the ice with another team right now. We are going to have a sixth team. I feel very confident with that. The USA Hockey, after our annual meetings, USA Hockey just finished their meetings, and they feel confident with what we have going forward as a group. So they're not going to put their stamp on it unless they really feel comfortable with the fact that we're going to have a sixth team, and to have a league in USA Hockey. In the ranks, you do have 6 teams. So at this point, I could just assure you that we will have 6 teams. It's going to be one of 2 locations. If it's one location, the other location will be a team the following year. We don't want to try and push too much forward and bring them in. It's hard enough to bring a team along at this point in time. To try and do 2, it'd be pushing the envelope because we have plans of having an expansion draft amongst us. We're in the process of formulating plans there. So we will have 6 teams. Other things that came out of that meeting, as a group, we're trying to rebrand ourselves, and part of that is we will no longer call ourselves NORPAC. Although some of us older guys, it's going to take a little bit more time to get rid of that NORPAC thing, but we are the NPHL. New logo, new design, and with doing that, we're making an effort to commit ourselves to moving 100% movement of all players. We're going to keep the 20-year-old thing. That may even drop to 3 in the future, because we want to find younger players that are to move them along. It doesn't mean that we're not going to ever have any older players in the league, and we're turning our back on any 19-year-old or 20-year-old. But what it really means is that you better have the right 20-year-olds on your team, guys that are committed to this, not just trying to finish out playing a junior hockey career that could have ended probably playing U18 AA at the end of high school, because that's the last time they put any skates on. So we're really committed to that. And the only way you can get youth to come play in your league, or one of the ways, is by telling them, listen, we are not going to have 10, 20 on our team. So you have a very good chance of playing in our league as a young player. You still get to go out and play against 20-year-olds.
But 100% guarantee, that's a big step
well,
up.
It's 100% commitment, not a guarantee. Don't
Commitment,
put words in
okay.
my mouth now. And really, we'll eventually release percentages that our goals. We have goals in mind. I will tell you this, that our goal is, one of the goals is, and this is why I don't want 20-year-olds to be scared to play in our league, is our goal is the 20-year-olds you have on your team, we're demanding that every team have 100% movement of your 20-year-olds. So every one of those 20-year-olds needs to be playing some kind of college hockey, because juniors are done the next year. And so you better have the right 20-year-olds on your team, if you expect to do that. And what we really hope to be doing next year at this time is put those percentages on our websites and show people that this is what we did last year as a league.
That's a lot of work for Coach Dickerman, yourself, Chuck Cheshire, everyone involved. So that means you guys, that's more than a full-time job, which everybody already has at this point. All right. So talk to us about some camps you have coming up. You've got Scott Johnson coming down from Alaska Anchorage. You've got Turk Hartley showing up for your camp July 14th through the 16th over at Mountain View Ice Arena.
Yes, and we keep the cost down. I mean, $80 for 4 or 5 ice times. We're not trying to make a lot of money, and we're still trying to present. Even if a player wanted to come to our camp just so he could get seen by those guys, we can accept that. We try and have these camps. One, of course, we're trying to find some players, but two, we're also trying to give them an opportunity to be seen by, people that are decision makers, that have an opportunity to help players move along. And in both cases, Scott Johnson has been closely attached to both Chuck Cheshire and I for a long time, and he'll come down here and he'll also do an on ice goaltending session, and he's committed to helping us evaluate all the players. And then Turk Hartley, he with the Coquitlam, he's a scout now with the Coquitlam Express out of the BCHL, and he's committed also to evaluating the players. And I personally have seen Turk at our games last year and previously before ask me and then have me get him in contact with players that were either on our team or on the other opposing team, so he can talk to them about coming to the BCHL. And so it's not just a bunch of hot air, and Turk's not just showing up and we're buying him a cup of coffee for one day. Turk will come throughout the whole weekend, and Turk will sit down and write evaluations with us. So they're there to help themselves maybe a little bit, but they're also there to help us. And it's great to have more eyes evaluating players out there.
And if they're interested in registering for the camp, they can go to the Vancouver Vipers website and click on the tryouts tab and fill out the form.
Yep. And there's a downloadable form there. You can either, if you're going to pay with credit card, you can do it through PayPal online there, or you can write a check and send it to our P.O. box, to our address. It's on the registration form. It's July 14th through the 16th.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to that, and as well as camp in August and the season to start sometime towards the end of September, beginning of October. Any final thoughts, Keith, or anything else you want to throw out there before we finish up here?
Yeah, if there's one thing I'd like to add is, our community's been a great support to us, but anybody that's out there listening in the local community, probably the worst job in the world and the hardest thing to do in one of these organizations is finding good billet homes and billet families for all these players. And unfortunately, in our case, that usually means quite a few places for people to stay. We don't tend to have a lot of homegrown players on our team, and so we're out desperately looking for good families that want to be part of our organization next year and have a great kid come into their household and have a wonderful experience doing it. So I'd like to make sure that gets out there somewhere. So,
well, I think it's out there at this point. Thank you, Keith. Well, I really appreciate the time, or Steve and I both appreciate the time that you took to come on and talk about the team, the changes, and the exciting things that are happening in the league. We're looking forward to it this year.
I think both you guys this year will truly enjoy the team that we're putting together. It is going to be a different mixture, but there will be some of the old coming back, and a little bit, and then a good mixture of new talent coming in, and some of that's older and some of it's quite young. So, and some of the young guys, I think, got really good junior possibilities in the near future. So, I think you'll enjoy what we're really doing right now.
Good. He said the old coming back. I don't know if you heard that, Steve, but I think that means that we're coming back.
Old. I'm telling you, I've done this before, and I'll say it again.
Yeah.
You're old. I am experienced.
Keep telling yourself that.
You know, Keith, last year it was a tough year.
Yeah,
and,
it was.
You know, we watched the boys mature. We watched the ownership group really kind of figure out what the pulse of that team was going to be. And we have no doubt, and we have had emails, and we have had conversations with people about what they think the Viper team will look like. And we've had nothing but positive comments saying you won't even recognize probably the team coming on this year that was last year. But you know what? You sacrificed. You put in the time. Now it's time for redemption and payback. So we are truly excited for that.
You know, if anything is to be said for that. The one thing is, you know, we were very young, and most of those young players are coming back. And with that year of experience, and they got more experience than they probably ever would in any other year in our league. What's really good about it is we'll get paid back now in the future with these guys. You know, by having Alex Rosen as a 16-year-old playing virtually every other shift, and at times having the double shift on defense. I don't know if he'll know what it's like to play with 60 men back there. But kids like Alex coming back will be that'll pay dividends for us in the future. Of course, Alex is young enough; he could be with us for another few years. But he will be coming back this year for sure. So, you know, it'll be really interesting to see if what I think happened last year really did happen for some of those players, you know, with the experience of playing in the league for a year. And not only playing, but getting a lot of ice time, because we were short benched on nearly the all season. Very seldom did we ever dress over 16, 17 players, you know. So those players benefited from that, whether they realized it or not. No matter how tough it was, they benefited from all that playing experience.
Yeah, there was definitely no short of ice time for those boys. Well, hey, Beamer, we're going to let you go.
Yep.
Again, we do appreciate you taking the time to jump on the line of BS here with us.
Thank you guys for letting me be on.
And we will probably see you July 14th. We'll show up and see what's going on at camp.
Very good.
All right, Beamer, thank you, man. Thanks very much.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Later.
Keith Bemis.
All right.
Of the Fort Vancouver Vipers, a couple things that Beamer brought up, and let me cover them real quick.
Please do.
Billets. If you would like to billet a player for the Fort Vancouver Vipers this year, contact Kelly Chavez, 360-601-8345. You can email Kelly at vipers.billet@aol.com. So give Kelly a call, 360-601-8345. If you're interested in billeting a Viper player this year. The camp, we did touch upon it, July 14th through the 16th. The BCHL Coquitlam Express, Hartley is going to be down, goalie coach of the University of Anchorage, Alaska, Scott Johnson. He'll be here helping to evaluate players as well and run a goaltender session. If you want to go to the website, again, vancouvervipers.pointstreaks.com, or give Keith Bemis a call, 503-737-9579. Give him an email as well, kbemer, KBEMER 29, kbemer at AOL.com. You can also drop one off by Chuck Cheshire. He
doesn't know how to use email.
Oh, it's on here. He has a couple of emails, so I'm going to give you the one that actually makes sense. Vipers.gm@AOL.com. Phone number 360-910-9806.
And we're just kidding, Chuck. We know you're listening.
He doesn't know how to turn the computer on, so I'm not really sure he would know how to listen anyway.
He gets his wife to do that for him.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up, this special version of the Red Light District Junior Hockey Talk Show. Why? Because we miss everybody out there, especially the NSA. Thanks for joining us from all points of the globe, folks. Seriously, we're not much of a threat, but give us enough time. I'm sure we could be. That'll wrap it up for this edition of the Red Light District Junior Hockey Talk Show. We certainly appreciate everyone tapping in, and a special thanks to Mike Stanaway and Keith Bemis for coming on and spreading good cheer.
Yeah, thank you, boys.
That was awesome. Time to throw another log in the fire and turn out the lights, folks. We are out of here. Take care, everybody.